now come to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to the Asbury Park Press, the Middletown Patch, and the Middletown Township Public School District website, and the posting of such notice at the Aldous T. Meyer administrative offices and each elementary, middle, and secondary school in the district. Roll call.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Here.
Mr. DeFranco?
Here.
Mr. Donovan?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Riddle? Mrs. Minnie?
Here.
Mrs. Wright?
Here.
Mrs. Stella?
Here.
Mrs. Rogers?
Here. At this time, I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for Robert Bob Colby Anderson, who passed away on February 19th, 2019, at the age of 79. Bob began his 33-year career as a physical education teacher and coach at Thorne Middle School in 1961. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll have our presentation of the 2017-2018 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, presented by Holman Frenia and Allison PC. I'd just like to remind the public to please hold your comments and questions to the end of this presentation for our opportunity for public comment on presentations and agenda items only.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? My name is Matt Holman. I was the partner on the audit engagement this year, and I'll try and keep this short for you, but I did want to go over a couple items that we have in our report. First thing I wanted to mention, obviously you know we usually are able to provide a more timely product than what you're seeing. This is for the 6/30/2018 year end. The state unfortunately had some delay with some information getting out to all of the districts throughout the state. So we're really just at this point getting all of these audits out. Unfortunately, it's related to GASB 75, which is very technical, new accounting implementation that needed to be done, and it has to do with the OPEB for the district, which is the other post-employment benefits. They are being recognized at the state level, and the information had to come down from the state to be included in a note that goes into your audit report. Doesn't affect the day-to-day activity at all, but it is something that we had to wait to include in the notes to your financial statements. All right. So that being said, if you look at the first page I wanted to highlight is actually on page 9. I did want to point out the district also has the Certificate of Excellence that was awarded to it, which is a nice award that's handed out at the national level. And I believe the district is only one of 5 in Monmouth County that receives this award. It's a very nice award. It really speaks to the quality of the audit report that's prepared by Amy and the rest of the business office. Okay, in addition to that, you'll see page 13. This is really the most important piece that we're including with the audit, and this is our independent auditor's report. I'm happy to say that we are issuing an unmodified opinion. This is the best opinion that can be rendered for a district. We had no modifications that were needed to the standard auditor's report here. If you flip to the next page, page 14, you'll see about halfway down that page, we had to include an emphasis of matter paragraph this year, which is a little bit different than what you've seen in the past. This just highlights the accounting implementation that was done for the GASB 75, the OPEB amount that needed to be included. All right, this has not modified our opinion in any matter, but we did want to highlight that that information is new for this year. Okay, so that's the first opinion. We have 2 other opinions I definitely want to point your attention to as well. The first of which starts on page 199. Okay, if you look at page 199, you'll see this is our report on the internal controls of the district. Through all the testing that we perform, we also take into account the internal controls that the district has going on. And I'm also happy to say that this is an unmodified opinion. We did not need to include any items of modification to this opinion. Well, this is again the best opinion that can be rendered on the internal controls of the school district. If you'll flip
Sorry,
to,
can you just talk about it?
yeah, sure.
You know, it talks about that for the purpose of expressing our opinion on the financial statements, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the district's internal control. So can you just explain the difference there?
Yeah, absolutely. What we're doing is a financial statement audit. We're honed in on really making sure that the numbers that are being presented are materially correct. We're not doing an internal control audit. So when we come in, we are looking at the controls that are in relation to providing those material numbers. But if we were to say, come in and do an internal control audit of the district, it would be much more limited on looking at every control that the district has and making sure that those controls are up and operational.
Like payments and payment processing and things like that?
Payments and processing, that's really a part of the financial process. So we can get into a lot of that information. Well, there are a number of, there could be any number of controls, and that would be a very resource-intensive audit that would have to be done. So that language that you're seeing there is really just to limit that presentation.
Sorry, when does that audit occur? Do we ever do that audit?
No, really, the financial statement audit is the annual audit that's required. Most people, you may consider a specific internal audit, an internal control audit on something if you had any concerns about a particular area. Just to give an example, like student activity fund, if you needed to come in and you really wanted to look to make sure that those controls were operating effectively. Okay, so if you look at page 201, you'll see our final opinion that we're giving the district here. And this is in relation to the single audits that were performed. Because the district had over $750,000 in state and federal funding that came in, we had to do 2 separate single audits. And that really entails looking at the compliance of specific grants. And again, this is an unmodified opinion. We had no modifications that we need to put in. And again, it's the cleanest opinion that can be rendered for the district. Okay, after that, you will see on page starting on 209, this would be our section to include any financial statement findings other than ones that would show up in that report. And again, I'm happy to say we had no findings or recommendations that raised themselves up to the level to be included in the report. So this is about as clean opinion that can be rendered for the district. And was there any other specific questions on anything in the report that anybody wanted to go over? No? Okay, well, thank you very much for the opportunity to do the audit. We appreciate it. And thank you to the business office. We put them through a lot of testing through this. It's a very intensive process, especially with all the different opinions that need to be rendered and the amount of testing that goes into the compliance of the grants especially. And Amy and her staff did a tremendous job with it. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Yes.
How many years have you received this award?
Well, it's been every year since I've been in the district, so, I guess the first one was 2011.
Congratulations.
It's always a year behind because right now we'll submit this report for review. So the one, the certificate's in here is 2017, so right now we're submitting this report to get reviewed on international as well.
Thank you. open the microphone for opportunity for public comment on the presentation and agenda items only. Oh, absolutely, yeah, come on. Thank you, Jen.
Okay, my name is Dalia Habibi, and I'm a senior in Middletown North. And I wanted to address the new policy about AP testing. So for current sophomores and freshmen, it's what I believe that, if I'm not wrong, that next year, the current sophomores and freshmen are going to be required to take AP tests if they take a course. Is that correct?
Current 8th and 9th graders.
Okay. So I'm a senior, this obviously doesn't affect me, but I'm very passionate about this. And I was wondering, well, I would like to know when this decision was made and who made the decision.
So, I don't, were you, did you participate in any of the student, I'm just wondering, because I don't want to rehash everything that was discussed in the student
The,
information
I think
sessions.
Board of District Directors came to North and we met in the CRC.
Right.
And they spoke to us and they asked for our opinions on what, like their potential actions would be. And they told us that they were thinking about making the tests required and you would have to pay for them. And then also, if you didn't take the test, your AP class grade would be dropped to the weight of an honors class. And I think that's not right, and so I feel like you guys have more power than I do, and you would be able to bring this to them and try to reverse this decision, because I think that this is a form of socioeconomic discrimination. At Middletown North, we have a wide range of socioeconomic status, and I think that even if someone on paper can afford to pay for AP tests, it's not fair to make students pay for a grade, which is what this seems like. So if you don't pay for the test, your rank weight goes down from an AP class to an honors class. Even though you went through the exact same class in the coursework, you just didn't take the College Board issued test. So it just doesn't make sense to base a school grade on a test that's not issued by the school and it's like outside of the course curriculum or what goes in the grade book. Okay, should I keep going?
Well, okay, so, the course curriculum is actually aligned to College Boards. They set the syllabus. It is a course that is created by, not the district, but the College Board.
Yeah.
We host and we make the course available to students. And then we staff the teacher to teach it. So the curriculum is designed by College Boards.
Yeah.
It is very different from the traditional type of curriculum that our district creates, in that it starts with the test in mind, and the entire syllabus is written to prepare the students for the test. Because an AP course is intended to provide opportunity to generate or obtain college credit. That is the intent of an advanced placement course. So, with that being said, in mimicking a traditional college approach, in completing the requirements of the course, like any college course would be, you go to Brookdale, Seton Hall, Rutgers, Monmouth, the requirement at the end of the course is to take a final exam.
Yeah.
So that's why the College Board has the final exam, so that they can certify that you have met the requirements of college work, so they can issue college credit. If you go on the College Board website, and there's actually a search, a tool that they have, where you can look up the colleges that accept AP credit.
Yeah.
The vast majority, we just did a random sampling the one day, the directors and a couple of the district directors and I, and we probably entered about 100 colleges, starting first in New Jersey and then branching out. We, all but one that we entered, and it was, I think, Boston College, only accept, they don't accept the credit, but what they'll do is they'll allow the student to go to the next level.
Yeah, I'm applying to Boston College, and frankly, most of the colleges I'm applying to don't accept AP credit. They say they take it into account in what class you would be put into, but I think that especially for seniors who already know where they're going, it's wasteful to spend $94 on a test for $376 on 4 tests.
Which is why,
If you're
Sorry,
going to-
wait, sorry.
if you're going to get credit for something that's, you're not gonna get credit for. Like, if I end up going to Boston College, I don't know where I'm going, but a lot of my friends do.
Right.
And some of my friends that are colleges don't take AP credit.
I'd be interested to know which ones, because, like I said, we literally wanted to do a litmus test. You know, we
Yeah.
did a sample size, a pretty large group.
And I would also like to say, I think that another misnomer is that whether they accept the test or not, especially at Tier 1 university like Boston College, that the expectation isn't that you're going to take the test. That's not consistent with any of the information that our guidance counselors or our assistant principal for guidance are telling us, or any information that myself as a former high school principal, as an educator, or as a parent for students who have graduated from college and two in college. As a matter of fact, the rigor is an expectation in most competitive programs
Yeah.
that you are going to take the test and that you are going to pass the test just for admittance, whether or not they receive credit or not. Although I know that we did our research to make sure that the majority of colleges do accept the credit, and that's also consistent with my own children as well, and what I've seen in the past as an educator. So I just want more information. I think that's important.
So we heard that in the sessions with the students.
Yeah.
You know, there was concern about, but I want to still take the test because I want to access the curriculum. You know, I don't want to, those colleges I may be looking at, I'm not sure if they're going to accept the credit, but so I don't want to commit to the test, but I still want access and the experience in the course and access to the curriculum. And so that was part of our decision-making, that feedback, in looking at it like, it really is a traditional college course. And most colleges will allow students, if they don't want to attempt credit, to audit the class. That's what most colleges will call it. You can non-matriculate or audit the class, which is wherein came the idea of, okay, so you're not doing the full preparation, because the full preparation for the test means you're going to Saturday prep sessions, or you're doing, you know, you're coming in over the summer to get a jump start on the curriculum, because there's a lot that has to be covered prior to September if you're going to be ready for a May exam. Because the rest of the country, a lot of students are already done with their coursework because they get out of school in May. So because we start later in the Northeast, we have to do that jump start in the summer. So if you're a student who is going to prepare to take the exam, there is extra work that is required.
I went to summer enrichment for most of mine.
So if you're not pursuing the credit, you're not pursuing the college credit, we took in the feedback from the students, we took that into consideration. Then we said we would not preclude any student from taking the course, but the college weight would not apply. So hence why the honors weight would apply. And I just want to explain that when your application is submitted to the colleges, they unweight your GPA anyway. So any weight that we provide or any district applies to the final grade of the course is determined to be your weighted average. To keep all playing fields level, what the colleges do is they unweight. So they take away any AP or honors weight we apply. I don't know if you're aware of that. So for the purposes of the weighting, it's an internal mechanism only within the district. I just want to make that clear too.
Okay. Well, I still think that, like, I understand why you made the decision and what it was about, but it's just not fair. I still took all the classes. I still took the class. I still wrote all the essays in class. I did all the homework. I read the material. I passed the class, or maybe I got like an 89 or something. And that will, if I don't take the test, that brings down my grade because it's an honors weight instead of an AP weight, and that affects rank. And I know, like, I'm going through the application process currently, and on the Common App, it asks you to self-report any AP scores. It doesn't ask you to send, like, the real scores in. So it feels like they don't, like, matter, they matter, but they don't matter as much as, like, weight or something. Like, or like rank, because rank is something that is, like, across schools, like, you get your rank. And then,
Well, actually, you really don't, you rank, but you don't publish the rank, and that's just an external mechanism. And honestly, rank across schools is, they don't look at it equally. Rank in a school, even like the Monmouth County vocational schools that take like the top level students, rank there is totally different than rank at a high school norm. I mean, so rank is really not something that is
Weighted in
Yeah,
the application
yeah.
as equally.
I just think that, going back to my first point, you shouldn't be forced to pay for a test that you might not use. You understand what I mean?
I understand your
Because
position.
a lot of schools, like some schools have the budget and they can pay for the test for the kids. And some schools, I know, will reimburse students. If you get a 4 or maybe even a 5, you get money back. And I just think that in Middletown North specifically, we have a lot of students who are middle class, and I feel like the school shouldn't be making financial decisions for the students and families. Because even if you could hypothetically pay for something, you're discouraging students who wouldn't be able to pay for a test to take an AP class. And I think an AP class is more about learning than being a product of the College Board. Because I took AP French this year, and I'm taking the test, but all the other students aren't taking the test because they wanted to pursue French. The next level up is AP French. There's no other way to go. You have to take an AP class, so then you would be forcing kids to take a test and pay for it. And
Well, I just want to correct, I understand that that's your perception, but they still have access to the course. They can take the course. We're
I
not
know.
forcing them to take the test. They
But-
still can take the course if they want the college weight applied. Then the completion of all the components, which includes taking the test, as any traditional college course would require,
Yeah.
and this is what this is mimicking, is an expectation. The other thing that did come out of our listening sessions with the students, and I don't know if you're, if this was something that was recognized, is the students also spoke about the fact that there was inequality in the way we were applying college weight or AP weight, what we traditionally used to refer to it as, to those who were taking dual enrollment courses. In the past, dual enrollment courses, which are comparable to AP, but what happens is instead of taking an end of course exam that's administered by the College Board, you're taking our final exam because our course has been approved by someone like a Seton Hall or a Fairleigh Dickinson to earn college credit. We are now, starting next year, going to apply college weight, or what you guys probably refer to as AP weight, to dual enrollment students who are seeking college credit through dual enrollment too. So we've actually broadened the use of the college weight or the AP weight for our students.
I think that's a good thing, but I just think the money is the problem. And I just think it's like, I understand the test completes the course, but the fact that you went through everything, even, like, some classes are just harder. Some AP classes, like AP Bio, is just harder than AP Psych, and that's how it is.
Right.
Right? And so, there are some students who might know, like, they're going to fail the test, and they wouldn't want to take it, but they still went through the course, and they have a good grade in the course, because sometimes classes and the test can be a little bit different.
So in hosting the college course, which is what we're doing, we're the host of that course here in district. We have the expectation, like any college would, when a student would take the course.
Yes.
Because this is a college course.
I understand.
Okay, so the college would have an expectation that the student would take the final exam to receive credit
Yes.
and to get a grade for the course. And that is our expectation as well as the host of that college course here in district.
I understand. I also wanted to say that this is what I foresee happening in requiring students to take a test to get the AP weight. Most students will probably just do it. They'll say, whatever, I'll pay, and I'll do it. I'll take the test, but I'm not going to try. This is what happened with the park. Lots of students said, I'm just going to click through and write, I hate park in my essay box, and click submit and take that. That's what's going to happen. Kids are going to fill in random multiple choice bubbles, write I hate college board in their essay, close the book, I'm taking it out.
I would sincerely hope that students see this as the opportunity that it is for them and their families, where they can earn 3 college credits, which at a normal cost, if you were taking the course at a Boston college or, and that's not a good example, if you're saying that that's the one, that might have been the one I think that, but say you're taking the course at Rutgers, it's going to cost a lot more for those 3 credits than $94. And that's really what that's the financial incentive, and I think that's kind of losing a little bit
But
of.
some kids only take 1 or 2 AP classes, or maybe you have to get a 5 to receive the credit, and so maybe it won't work. It's just too many what ifs
Right.
to get the money back.
Sorry, if you don't mind, if I interject a little bit. So I was just on BC's website, and while they don't accept AP credits towards graduation, they will move you a course up.
Yes.
So that's a benefit. And then in terms of numbers, I just want to take a look. Rutgers per credit is $383. That's a state school, which is a lot less expensive. Brookdale's $174 per credit. Syracuse, which would likely be along the lines of a BC, is $846 per credit. So the savings are substantial if a student is taking an AP course, I'm assuming that they're college bound. So anyway, I do like to give numbers and really give the facts, and I did a pretty deep dive into the colleges that do accept AP credits. And the only college in New Jersey that requires a 5 is Princeton. That's the only college in New Jersey. And a few of the courses at Princeton will take you with a 4 and give you the college credit. There's just a lot of misinformation out there, and I like to kind of consider myself a soldier in the war against misinformation. So I kind of have some numbers here. Well, first, in terms of mandatory, it's really not mandatory because you do have the option to take the course and still get the honors rate. So it really isn't mandatory in that sense. I do understand what you're saying. And like I said, they do accept the AP credits. I did take a deep dive into it, everything from Ivy League to community colleges. BC is an exception, but I looked at a lot of schools and they all take AP credit.
I don't think Ivy League do. I
Yes,
applied
they do.
to.
Princeton does.
We actually, even Harvard,
Cornell
we
does.
actually just, in part of our litmus test, part of our 100 schools that we put in, Harvard was one of them.
I
as was
went
Cornell.
to an info session with a bunch of Ivy Leagues, and I spoke to the Harvard representative, and she told me that they take them into account like Boston College does. They said.
No, if you go, okay, so the College Board has a feature, it's really, really helpful, where you can actually, they have a drop-down menu, you can put your college's name in there, and it tells you their AP policy. I didn't look at Harvard, but you did.
We did.
But I did look at Princeton. Princeton does accept AP credits. But
Cornell does as well.
Princeton, you do have to get a 5,
Yeah.
like I said, in those courses,
Well, if
which
you
is
don't
tough to
think you're gonna
do.
get a 5, then, and if you're accepted to Princeton, and you don't think you're gonna get a 5 on this exam, why take it?
I know how selective Princeton is, and I would imagine that most students in Princeton, in the case of Princeton, applying there would likely.
But if you're a senior and you applied early action, and you have been accepted in December, you don't have to sign up for the AP tests until, we haven't done that yet.
Okay, well, the rule, hasn't it changed now? The College Board's
College
now
Board.
requiring it in October.
Starting next fall.
Starting this, yeah.
Okay, well, this year.
Right, I'm talking about for you. I know, and I know. So it seems to be an emotionally charged issue.
Yes.
So I just want to kind of come at it with as many facts as possible because I only make decisions based on facts. And I've read a lot of Facebook comments and blogs and, I listen to it and I find blogs interesting and entertaining and I do read what the public writes and, I have thought about it. As a matter of fact, as a board, we're not voting on this.
No, it's
So
not
it's not
ours.
actually a board decision. But I do appreciate the feedback, and I'm a teacher. And, I do think it's important that while in general I don't believe in teaching to a test, the spirit of the AP course is, with the test, with the end in mind. But, whether or not it's fair, I mean, all of that is up to for opinion. The numbers are the numbers, and I gave you those, and I respect your opinion, and I understand how you feel about it.
It just seems like with the AP test, you have to pay for a grade.
Mhm.
You have to pay if you want the AP, but you have to pay if you want your rank to go up. You have to pay if you want your GPA to go up.
You're paying for attempting to earn the college credit. And I don't want that to get lost in for anyone who's watching this, again, I just want to reinforce the point that the fact of the matter is the district is putting great investment into offering these courses. We've expanded the number to give students the most opportunity to earn college credit at a significant savings to families. Again, even using Rutgers as a state rate, what Mrs. Stella just shared, an average undergraduate course of 3 credits costs about $1,000. The opportunity for families, for students to earn those credits at $94, I don't want that to get lost. And that's really the spirit of offering these courses and putting the money into being able to offer them to our students.
I'd like to say that I'm very impressed
Yeah,
that
you did
you've
a really good
come
job.
here and you've spoken to us and
Yeah,
you've
you did a great
spoken
job.
at length and you presented, a strong argument, which is a reflection on you, your family, and our school district. And I want you to continue to use your student voice and to lead the way you're doing now, and to ask us all to continue to think and reflect about what the best things are for our students. And that's why we've spent about 30 minutes having a back and forth discussion with you to let you know how much we respect you and how much we respect student voice and how much our students' thoughts matter. I will also say that I held meetings at both high schools, and I had students that were for this, our initial proposal, and against it. And we changed our proposal and broadened our thought process based on the outstanding feedback we got from just like you, from students from Middletown North and Middletown South. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to encourage you to continue to come back. You know what I say in our student forums, because you've attended them in the past. You are the experts on Middletown schools. I always ask our students how many years they've gone to the Middletown schools. Quite often I'm in rooms with seniors that have been through our schools for 13 years, and they have tremendous perspective looking back to their time in elementary and middle school and high school. So I just want to thank you for your time and your leadership and your perspective. It's valuable for all of us to have this discussion.
Your
Thank
BC material. Good luck.
Thank you for
Yeah.
representing your peers so respectfully as well.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It just feels like sorry, I know I've been cut off. I thank you for respecting what I'm saying and listening to me. It just feels like we're not being taken into account. Like, I know I've been heard, but I don't think anything's going to come of this. So,
Well, as Dr. George said, we already have made many changes to our initial proposal, our initial idea, because of the feedback we received from you and your peers. So,
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our proclamations for NEA's Read Across America. I'll just read the proclamation. Whereas the citizens of Middletown Township stand firmly committed to promoting reading as a catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in a global economy. And whereas the Middletown Township school community has provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in the education of our youth, grounded in the principle that educational investment is key to the community's well-being and long-term quality of life. And whereas NEA's Read Across America, a national celebration of reading on March 2nd, 2019, sponsored by the National Education Association, promotes reading and adult involvement in the education of our community students. Therefore, be it resolved that the Middletown Township Board of Education calls on the citizens of Middletown Township to ensure that every child is in a safe place reading together with a caring adult on March 2nd, 2019. And be it further resolved that this body enthusiastically endorses NEA's Read Across America and recommits our community to engage in programs and activities to make America's children the best readers in the world. Okay, next I need a motion to approve the minutes from the executive session on January 15, 2019, the special voting meeting on January 15, 2019, our executive session on January 23rd, 2019, and the regular voting meeting on January 23rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next, for the report of the president, I would just like to firstly commend our administration for a great budget meeting on Monday night, the 25th. Thank you to those of you in the public who came out. We hope to see more of you on March 7th, where we'll have more of the numbers in. You know, I myself am hoping to see not just the 2%, is a 2% tax levy, but also the 0% and the 1%. That is my request as the president of the board. That is not the recommendation of our superintendent. I want to make sure I put that out there. That is something that I've asked to see, so we hope to see that. Yes, thank you. And I wanted to talk about Read Across America. We have adopted various schools. I know Mr. Jaimo and myself are going to Leonardo tomorrow morning to read. I know Mrs. Wright is going to Village and Bayview. So we're very excited to be involved in Read Across America, and that's wonderful. And what else? All right. And I think that's it for my report of the president.
Mrs. Rogers, we just want to add that the third budget meeting is added for March 11th.
Yes, a third budget meeting has been added for March 11th. And that is also open to the public.
It's a Monday.
It's Monday.
And the agendas will post those at the first meeting.
Okay. That is at 7 p.m. All right, now moving on to our report of the business administrator, board secretary. Do we have anything, or should I move on to the voting?
There's no report.
The motion? Okay, so I need a motion to approve P1 through 4.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? And now the report of the superintendent.
Yeah, before I make a motion for items 1 through 5, Mrs. Gallagher is going to give a synopsis of number 5, which is the memorandum of agreement with the Middletown Administrators Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. George. So the board concluded its negotiations with the MTAA, which is the administrators bargaining unit of the Middletown Township Schools. The memorandum of agreement encompasses a 4-year term of agreement, so the agreement will go from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2023. The financial components of that agreement include an increase in compensation over each of the 4 years, and also addition to the tuition reimbursement that is offered to the administrators for the pursuing of an advanced degree, namely doctorates at that level, and the elimination of health insurance waivers for those staff who do not take health benefits through our district that had previously been paid. So the compensation increase percentages for each of the 4 years are 3.5%, 3.25%, 3.25%, 3%, but netted out against the give-backs that the bargaining unit gave as far as the health insurance waivers go. The effective percentage increases, which would be the cost of the district, and that also includes the tuition reimbursement, comes out to 2.99%, 2.76%, 2.78%, and 2.54%. There's also an item in the agreement related to payment of vacation days upon separation, in which the bargaining unit gave back the amount of, or lessened the amount of days that they would receive during their last year of employment with the district, whether it be from retirement or resignation. So that is a financial give back. It varies from year to year depending upon the staff that leave and when they leave. So it's hard to quantify, but it is a financial give back to the relief. So that encompasses the financial components of the agreement.
Through 6,
So moved.
1 through 5, sorry.
So moved.
Second.
So 1 through 5,
So moved.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed on number 1.
I'm opposed on that.
Abstentions? Okay, moving on to recommendations of the superintendent of schools of technology. Are we doing technology?
Well, there's no voting.
No voting on
So you can skip the student services.
Yes. Student services, 1 and 2.
Yes. Okay, so I need a motion to approve B1 through 4.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I need a motion to approve C1.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion?
On this one, I just want to just read into the public record, our thanks to the township for working with us on this matter. It was very helpful. We look forward to the expansion and continued success of our Arts Academy.
Yes. This is the approval of the rental agreement with Middletown Arts Center to utilize their facilities for the high school Arts Academy dance track for the 2019 to 2020 school year at no cost to the district. Okay. I need a motion to approve.
We have to vote on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay. This policy is the first reading, no action.
Are we gonna, let's take a second to the question of, 4219 on the commercial driver's license? We had a discussion during the workshop talking about the state minimums for, substance levels after a test. I don't know, should we talk about that at a second reading or a different time?
Well, Mr. Little, I do have some information that I put together after the discussion that was held at last week's meeting about some details regarding that .02 that you were referring to. And
Well, there's also too, I think they removed also for other controlled substances. They have to have other levels that were.
well, let me just share with you what we've learned. Going into this a little bit deeper, we contract out our customers normally. So the employees are employees of the contractors. The contractors use a company called Preventative Maintenance Specialists to do this testing. They don't conduct it themselves in-house. They use a company to do it when they have a reason to test somebody. We have not found, we've asked the contractors, and we've also surveyed districts and looked on their websites. Nobody has said to the testing company that they are looking for something that will, a test that will generate an absolute zero. And the way the testing company described it to us is, they go by the state guideline, which is the .02, but there's also a margin of I guess you could call it error, or, variables in the test that they feel that the .02, really would be the equivalent of a zero, because, getting down to a zero level, you just can't guarantee that. So we don't know anybody that's doing it in another way. So I just wanted to share that with the board. I mean, the board can certainly discuss, but we're just letting you know that we haven't found anybody that isn't doing it. It's doing it any differently, or the policy reads differently, but that's just for the board
Like
to
to
discuss.
clarify, this is where someone is identified with, alcohol.
Right,
some other
reason
controlled
to test.
substance.
Well, there's
Issues.
reason to suspect,
Right, so these are tests that are
Be
taken.
suspicious of
Right,
something.
and I realize these are
Right.
state guidelines that are used and applied to when you get a transportation contract, but when we watched some of the videos like last week, it was Russell York slow rolling in the curve, and the driver had, paraphernalia in the actual school bus, that it's kind of interesting that the state, if someone is under suspicion or sort of had an issue.
She had a medical condition.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying that the employment for alcohol, someone who's been flagged, it's interesting to me that the state would have more than zero. That's my point. I realize that, and thank you for clarifying.
Well, I think it's because they feel that because there might be variations in the test or irregularities or whatever, or the term you want to use, that .02 would be an acceptable standard.
You can get a .02 from something like cough syrup, or certain medications, like mouthwash.
I mean, I won't speak to that, but I'm just sharing information that I'm.
It sounds to me like you're following the same policy that we use in the school district. If you have a suspicion, you can go ahead and test the person.
With our school,
and-
we're not driving.
But when they're hired too, I just want to make sure that, because I wasn't here for the discussion, but, when they're hired, are they drug tested?
Yes.
And I know that doesn't stop them from doing it
Right,
at
we
the hire
get
site.
certifications from the girl center that they tested their employees. Yes.
And we have the right to, if there's any kind of complaint or any kind of, questioning from our students to go ahead forward and investigate that and have that testing done too.
Yes.
I would like to say that our transportation department is very responsive to the concerns of our community. And they've also, our contractors have been very responsive to our request that on other issues as it relates to drivers, when we just feel that person isn't a good fit for our district. So there's never been a situation where an issue has been brought to us through the transportation department by a parent or by a staff member or by an administrator, where it's been investigated, or Mrs. Gallagher and I didn't feel that it was warranted for a change, that we make that change. So I just want to say that our contractors are responsive to our concerns and our needs.
Oh, absolutely.
I would think they would want to because it's their own liability in their company. And it's unfortunate that we've seen so many incidents about buses coming up in the last year or two, but, I would hope that our companies that we hire are taking everything seriously because it's their liability and their business too. And they're carrying our most important, people, our students.
I appreciate the clarification.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Are there any other questions on any of these other policies? Okay, I'll move on to, I need a motion to approve E1 through 3.
There's also, I'm sorry, there's also something on the agenda.
The
for
addendum.
curriculum.
As well as the addendum
1A.
1A.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Seen on the addendum, 1A.
Okay. Moving on to finance. I need a motion to approve F1 through 4.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed on number 1.
Abstentions? Okay, moving on to student activities. I need a motion to approve G1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I need a motion for I,
So moved.
numbers 1,
It goes on the addendum to number 7.
and number 7.
No.
1, 1 through 16.
Right, the
plus the
addendum
addendum.
number 7, but right, it's through number 16.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, now moving on to old business. No old business? Okay, moving on to new business.
I have one piece of new business for the board, just to report. We just received notification of the results of our food service administrative review. I don't know if you remember when we were talking about changing food service companies last year. This is one of the things we were concerned about because it's an extensive review. They come on site, they look at a lot of things. They look at records from central office, they look at, they go to school sites and they make sure everything's being done appropriately there. So they came a couple of weeks ago, they visited some of our schools, they looked through all of our records and so forth. I'm happy to report that we had no material findings, we had nothing that requires any fiscal action items, which would mean a clawback of the reimbursements that we receive because we get state and federal funds for the lunch program to subsidize our meals. We have no actionable items for this review. There were just a few minor findings about signage and some glitches in a few of the free and reduced applications, which actually was due to the new software system that we also got this year. So we had like a triple or double whammy of things: new food service company, new POS system, and this review. So we were really pleased with this. You know, Whitson's worked really hard with us to make sure that this went well. Our food service consultant, Edward, also helped us with this. So it's important because it could have fiscal ramifications, and we have a clean report basically. So it's wonderful.
Thank you. That's great news. Wonderful. Maybe I can ask something? Would it be okay this year, we tried deficit or it's 2019? And Joe and I go on a tour of food service to see what's happening to, we wanted a tour last year. And never got a chance. That's great. Sounds wonderful. We had the experts. Do you need, would you send something up for us?
Sure. I mean, just let me know what time frame you're looking at and what schools, I mean, I'm sure.
Maybe you could like hit, are you looking to hit all 17 or
Oh,
just
no,
like
no.
one elementary, one middle, one high school maybe?
Is it possible to do it like unannounced? Because that's.
We don't want them ready for us.
I want to see that, you know, we're getting exactly what we expect and not.
Because we want to
And I'm not
see them
saying
at the
you
end
can
of
do it,
school.
I don't want somebody to clean up their act just because of coming. I want to see exactly what our kids get every day.
And we can certainly discuss this offline and get something ready.
Thank you.
Right, Dr. Brewer?
And please keep us posted.
I'll let you know at the next meeting.
Yeah, that sounds great.
My daughter recommends the grilled chicken in case you want to get
No,
something.
we got that.
I just want to say that I was in the elementary schools today for Read Across America. It's amazing, our parent organizations, our teachers, all the staff in the building, the emphasis they put on reading, and this month has just been, it's really been an exciting month in the Middletown schools. But, so that's why I was out in the schools with Cindy Wilson. I did not, but Cindy will, I have this year though. I had a great kindergarten lunch I told you about, remember that, at Nut Swamp, but, with the kindergartners. But no, but today Cindy Wilson did make a point of saying what an outstanding product she feels we're getting with the lunches and how excited her kids are for the lunches. So that was just there.
That's why I don't anticipate to find anything, but I've heard a lot of positive feedback and that's like something to share.
And thank you for volunteering your time.
Yeah, thanks.
We did just do an informal survey of the principals too, like a mid-year survey. I was planning to do before and got that out to them. So they were able to respond, and we were asking comparison from this year to last year. And the results were positive. I mean, there's always some things that we look to, improve and so forth, but the results was positive. So we're happy, and I know Jessica Ritz, our food service director, is making a point to get them out to the schools and out to the parent groups and so forth. So we'll continue to work on it.
Thank you. And in new business right now, did anyone want to update us on any of the committees, any of our chairs?
Pam, we're not having a student service committee anymore?
So what we're gonna do is we're going to, when needed, call a meeting, but we won't have that monthly meeting that we usually have with Bob. And Deb will still be the representative for MFODL, so she'll still take care of that. If an issue does arise, we can call a meeting. We just won't have it scheduled monthly.
We didn't have it quite like last year either. I was just
Yeah,
curious,
that's
if
true.
we're not gonna be on a committee, then why have a committee?
Just in case we need it, to be honest. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Okay, if there's no more new business, I'd like to open up the mic to public comment.
Hi, good evening, DJ from Middletown. I would just like to echo some of the comments from what you heard earlier from the opening comment. So if you were not aware, I'm just going to kind of talk about the diversity of college strategies for a second. So if you were starting in the 1920 school year, the College Board is implementing a new fee structure. So a student who signs up for their AP exam before the November 15th deadline will pay $94. Registrations occurring between November 16th and March 13th will cost the student and his family $134, and that's what the College Board's $40 late fee order. So the student will be financially penalized for the late sign-up, and obviously it's not costing the college board any more money to sign this student up past the November 15th date. It's obviously just to funnel more money to the college board. Additionally, the college board will then penalize the student an additional $40 fee if the student cancels but is not sit for the exam. Although this is not the fault of this board, I have no idea why this kind of fee structure would be mandated, and most of all students will have no idea what colleges they may be or may not be accepted into during the fall time, making some of their AP credits towards out-of-state colleges, like I said, Boston, possibly Greenwich, Griffith, or only merely considered. Now, with the district's policy as well as the college board, this complicates a few students' college strategies. Consider the student who wants to enrich themselves in higher-level advanced placement courses with other students who share the same goals as them. And what if the student is aiming to go to using the STARS program to get into Brookdale, requiring the student to be in the top 15% of the class? Yes.
Could you slow down?
I apologize, I do talk fast.
I know, and you're probably trying to get it in that 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
I'll give you an extra minute.
exactly.
I'll give you an extra minute.
We'll credit you this time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, so I was just talking about that students they're gonna have to pay this fee even in the fall, even though they might not know what they're getting accepted into for college yet. They might not know what they're doing it. So with the district's policy, as well as the college board, this complicates a few student college strategies. So consider the student who wants to enrich themselves in higher level advanced placement courses with other students who share the same goals as them. What if this student is aiming to go to Brookdale using the STARS program, requiring that the student is within the